Is there any desire that you're really struggling to manifest because you're just so negative about it and you don't know what to do? Or maybe you're just going through a rough patch and you just can't bring yourself to feel as if you already have your desires, as if they're already yours right now, so that you can manifest them. If this is what you're going through right now, then keep watching, because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can manifest even when you feel super negative. And this works really fast. What's up, my beautiful superheroes? Welcome back to my channel, the place where we make the impossible possible. If you're new here, hi. I'm Scarlett Grace, I'm a manifestation coach, and I help people break through their limitations and manifest their heart's desires. In this video, I'm going to show you how to manifest with not affirmations. This is an amazing way to manifest when you're feeling super negative. So many people think that in order to manifest something, you need to be happy all the time. You need to be super positive about everything. And that is just not true. We manifest 24 hours a day, every day, all our lives. There is not a moment that is created that you didn't manifest. So we don't only manifest when we use a specific technique or when we say affirmations. We manifest all the time. And you can take advantage of your negative states to manifest your desires anyway. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly how to do this. But before we jump into this, if you want to learn how to manifest any desire fast with the law of assumption and Neville Goddard's teachings, then start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you won't miss any video that could change your life. I also have several self-study courses to help you manifest, including a 21-day course on how to manifest your specific person. And if you need some extra help and my personal advice for your situation, coaching is open. You can find the links for all of those things in the description below. Alright, so let's talk about the NOT method to manifest your desires. The number one reason manifestation fails for you is because you feel negative about the thing that you want to manifest. It's because you have resistance to it. And this shows up when, for example, you're using affirmations and instead of feeling better, you feel really bad when you hear yourself saying those affirmations. Now, if you feel neutral when you say your affirmations, that's not too much of a problem. You don't have to believe what you're saying in order for it to manifest. It helps if you believe it, but you don't actually have to. You can keep repeating an affirmation over and over, and after a while it will manifest even if originally you didn't believe in it at all. Or you can imagine an imaginal scene of you having what you want, and if you don't believe that you have it right now, that's not a problem. If you can get into the feeling during the visualization, it doesn't really matter if the rest of the day you don't fully believe it. It will manifest anyway if you persist. The problem happens when you actively super disbelieve what you're saying or what you're imagining. So you're imagining, for example, being happy with your specific person, and instead of being able to get into the feeling of this scene, what happens is you get triggered. You feel really bad. You feel that this is never going to happen, and you start feeling desperate instead of feeling either neutral or that this is already yours. Or you're using an affirmation where you're stating, for example, that I'm so happy that I received $10,000, and instead of believing that this already happened and feeling happy or even feeling neutral when you say it, you have all those bad feelings come up, all those feelings of lack and resistance, and this is never going to happen basically. That's what your mind says. For those times, the NOT technique can actually save you, because with the NOT technique, you can take advantage of those negative states to manifest your desire anyway. For this technique, we are going to use negative affirmations to manifest your desire. And I know that this sounds like the exact opposite of what you usually hear about manifesting, but this actually works, and here's why. The reason negative affirmations work is because your subconscious mind cannot understand negatives. In order for your subconscious mind to understand the negative, it has to imagine the thing and then understand the negative. So you're imagining the thing anyway, even if you don't consciously bring a full image of something in your mind when you're saying a negative statement. Your mind has to conjure up the thing that you're talking about in order to put the NOT on it. So for example, if you say, I will not manifest $10,000, what your mind focuses on is the $10,000, not the not part of the sentence, because it has to imagine what you're talking about in order to imagine the not part. If you say, my specific person is never going to come back, Your mind has to imagine, even if it's not a conscious process, what it means for your specific person to come back. Otherwise, the negative doesn't make sense to your subconscious mind. So what your mind does when you state negatives is it focuses on the rest of the sentence, on the thing, not on the never or the not part of the sentence. This phenomenon is actually demonstrated in a very famous exercise by Neville Goddard, one that he gave to his students when they first went to him, which is the ladder exercise. I have a full video on the ladder exercise if you want to try it for yourself so that you can prove to yourself that what I'm talking about is true. But basically, the ladder exercise consists of two parts. One part is you imagining that you're climbing a ladder as you fall asleep at night. The other part has to do with putting the statement, I will not climb a ladder, all over the place you live in and repeat that phrase during the day. If you do this, even though your whole bedroom or your whole apartment is filled with post-it notes saying, I will not climb the ladder, if you follow the process, within a few days, something will happen and you will be forced to climb a ladder. Many people have tried this and it works. You can check the video. I'm going to put it up to the right and also in the description below if you want to try this experiment for yourself to prove to yourself that manifesting works. And this will also prove to you that you can use a negative sentence to manifest the actual desire. Now, this method is not my go-to method to manifest all the time. I just use it when I feel that I have resistance towards the thing that I want to manifest. This is why this is an ideal technique when you have too much resistance around something. So if you have been imagining or affirming for a while, but you keep struggling with resistance, you keep feeling that this is something that you don't believe will ever happen to you, or you feel it's very difficult, this is the ideal technique to use. The reason this works so well when you're in a negative state is because when you use a negative affirmation for something that you're already feeling negative about, you don't bring up any resistance at all. Resistance comes when your subconscious mind doesn't believe what you're saying is true. When what you're saying agrees with what your subconscious mind believes, then there's no resistance. So, for example, if you say, I'm so happy and grateful that I received $10,000, and you're currently flat broke and you cannot pay rent, your brain will resist you because it observes the lack in your life. That's where the focus is on. That's why it feels so fake, and instead of helping you manifest those $10,000, it actually triggers you. It triggers thoughts of lack. But if you are already in this state of lack and you say, okay, I will not manifest $10,000. I just cannot manifest $10,000. It doesn't make the problem go away immediately, but your brain will not bring up any resistance because it agrees with you. It has no reason to resist the thought. So by using the negative statement, you get rid of the resistance that stops your manifestation from happening. It calms you down emotionally. You're not trying to force something into your subconscious mind that it is not ready to accept right now. And remember, this resistance is what has been preventing your manifestation from happening in your life. If you get rid of the resistance, it is much, much easier to get your desire and get it super fast. At the same time, remember, your subconscious mind doesn't actually understand the negative part of it. So you're tricking your subconscious mind to focus on the thing that you want to manifest, in this case, $10,000, while at the same time getting rid of resistance. That is why a negative affirmation can work super well when you have something to manifest and you're under pressure, or you don't believe it is going to happen, or you don't believe it is going to happen soon. If the concept of negative affirmations to manifest intrigues you and you want to learn more, I have a full video on this topic. I'm going to link it up to the right and also in the description below so that you can check it out after watching this video. In that video, I give you different suggestions on different ways to use negative affirmations to manifest your desires and get rid of resistance. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to keep it very simple. What you want to do is this. Pick the desire that you feel you have a lot of resistance towards. And either right now or when you catch yourself feeling very negative towards that manifestation, I want you to stop trying to force yourself to imagine already having the end result. I want you to stop affirming something positive over and over if it's not working. I want you to stop all that and just say the negative statement that is in your mind. For example, I will never manifest $10,000 in time. Or if it's about a specific person, Josh will not call me. I accept it now. He will not call me today. And say that a few times. Say that over and over, like an affirmation, and you will notice, even though you don't feel super positive like you feel when you're using a positive affirmation, the resistance goes away. It's like your whole system feels that, okay, this is bad, but I'm accepting it now. He will not call me. So the resistance goes away. There are two ways you can use this. If this thing that you want to manifest is something that you're using multiple techniques to manifest it, for example, you use affirmations and visualization as you fall asleep at night. I don't want you to stop the other things you're doing. I just want you to use the negative affirmation about it during the day. Whenever it comes to mind and it makes you feel bad, whenever you start worrying about whether it will manifest or not, use the negative affirmation. But when you go to bed at night, keep visualizing that you already have that thing. I don't want you to stop visualizing if you're already doing it. It's just the affirmation that you can add to your manifestation routine about this one specific thing. On the other hand, if you feel so triggered and so resistant towards this specific manifestation that you cannot even bring yourself to script or visualize about having it because you immediately go into panic mode, drop all those other methods that you're using. Don't script about it for a while. Don't fall asleep imagining it because it's not working anyway. So in that case, at least for a few days, stop whatever other manifestation method you're using for this specific desire and only use the negative affirmation a few times a day. I usually like to use affirmations when I wake up in the morning, sometime around, lunch break maybe. So noon, early afternoon, and then before going to bed at night. So 3 times a day, for a few minutes, repeat this negative affirmation to yourself and do only that. The last time I used this method, it was a few weeks ago. I was expecting a very important phone call from somebody. And it was for business purposes. It was very important and it was from somebody who had my number. But I forgot to ask them for their number. And this is not a person whose number you can Google. You cannot find it unless they give it to you. And I forgot to ask for their number. So I was waiting for this phone call that should have already happened and it wasn't happening. And I had no way to reach out to the person to figure out what happened or to discuss the thing that we were supposed to discuss. And no way to find their number from somebody else. And I didn't know what to do. Now, at the same time, I was focused on so many different things that this was not my main focus. I was worried about it, but I wasn't actually paying that much attention to it. But every time it came to mind, it stressed me out. But I wasn't consciously trying to use any technique to manifest the phone call because I was focused on other things that were more urgent at the time. So at some point, I was looking at my phone and I realized that, hey, I need to do something about it because this phone call is not happening. And I just kept telling myself, this person is not going to call. I just have to accept that they're not going to call. Maybe they lost my number. Maybe they're not interested anymore. They are not going to call. They're just not going to call. And suddenly, after I said that a few times, I wasn't even trying to manifest it through this method because I was just stressed at that moment. But by accepting that this person is not going to call, I'll have to manifest it somehow because if I leave the situation exactly as it is right now, it's obvious they're not going to call. The moment I was thinking about it and my anxiety levels were going down by accepting that this person is not going to call, guess who called me? Yep. It worked that fast. I didn't even have time to fully accept that they're not going to call so that I can decide how I'm going to manifest that phone call. I didn't even have time for that. It just manifested. Another example from a friend of mine. She was waiting for a phone call because she was supposed to be hired for a specific position and it had been a month and they should have notified her already, but they weren't calling her. She was supposed to go and sign a contract, but they had never called her and they were supposed to call her weeks earlier. And she was feeling super stressed about it because this was a job she really wanted and she didn't know what was happening and she didn't want to call and ask because she didn't want to sound desperate and she didn't know what to do. And she was telling me, I have to accept it. They are not going to hire me. They're just not going to hire me. They're not going to hire me. I have to accept it and go look for another job. And we were talking about it, and I tried to tell her, hey, you can manifest it. You can manifest that you're already hired by imagining that you're working at that position, that you work at that office. But she wasn't listening to any of that. She was like, oh, I don't care what you say. I have to accept that they're not going to hire me because it's been a month, and I have to deal with it. I have to go look for another job. And 24 hours later, they called her, and she signed a contract. So next time you find yourself in a super negative triggered state, don't try to force yourself out of that state if it's not working at the moment. You can use the negative state to manifest your desire anyway. Try this and let me know in the comments what you manifested using this method. And if you haven't already, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, because I put out new videos every Sunday to help you manifest an amazing life.